evening. Thanks for tuning in to the Flurry Sports Fantasy Football Show. Obviously, we are live here every single Wednesday night. We are live on the YouTube channel, Flurry Sports YouTube, Flurry Sports Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. So go to your preferred platform, and we can for sure see messages on Twitch and Twitch and YouTube. So if you want to jump in and ask fantasy football questions, definitely go to YouTube for sure. Subscribe, leave a bunch of chats, and we will answer you. But we are going to go over my fantasy football rankings for the week. Obviously, they change throughout the week. So they are linked in the YouTube description. Definitely check back throughout the week to see the updates. They are going to be in half PPR scoring since that's what Fantasy Pros grades me on. And then we will be comparing them to the expert consensus to see who we are higher and lower on. We have done very well throughout this entire season. So, this is a good show to watch. And I don't know why this week would be any different. We start with quarterbacks. We start with Josh Allen like we do pretty much every week. He plays the Chiefs. Number 2, I do have Jalen Hurts versus the Cowboys. Lamar Jackson 3 at the Giants. Kyler Murray 4 at the Seahawks. And Patrick Mahomes 5 versus the Bills. Trevor, what do you think of those 5 quarterbacks?
I mean, obviously, Allen, Hurts, Jackson, Mahomes, those guys are pretty much always going to be top 5. Murray's a little interesting just because that team, I don't think they've scored more than 25 points in regulation. I think they've done it once this season, but that Seattle defense is just not at all good. So he's an interesting name to see in there, but with the running ability he brings, he can always, easily be a top 3-4 guy.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Cardinals this week with the matchup against Seattle. I don't know how much. I don't know if this is a game, and maybe we'll talk about it in running backs, but I don't know if this is a game where they try to get James Conner going a little bit more because I think you can run against the Seattle defense. I guess that would be my only worry, but I think with James Conner running, it just sets up Kyler Murray. So, top 5, it seems very attainable for Kyler Murray this week.
Well, James Conner may not even play. He's banged up. So maybe the Eno Benjamin show, which I am very much happy about since I stuck my neck out for him this offseason. Before we jump into the rest of the quarterbacks here, question from Cade Smith. He's got Trevor Lawrence, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Chris Olave, Kenneth Walker. His bench is Wilson Pitts. Walker on his bench. Wilson Pitts both available. Should I make any moves? I mean, you need to pick up Kyle Pitts. You have to.
Stop shaking your head, Luke. You're creating static.
No, yeah, T-Law should not be Trevor Lawrence. T-Law is always Ty Lawson.
Is that the issue that you had?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the issue I had too, to be fair.
Fine. You definitely need to pick up Kyle Pitts. I guess look to see. We don't know who your starters are, so I mean, fuck, who knows? But I don't think Trevor Lawrence is a must own. I don't think. I would, what I would do, because I think Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson, and Chris Olave are 3 good wide receivers. I would package them for 1 player. 2 for 1, and then create room, pick up Kyle Pitts. It's just easier to type. Doesn't matter. Spell it out.
Time out here.
It's not T-Law.
Cade, we love that you're, joining us and asking us questions and everything. But you can't say it's too much to write when you're the one asking for advice.
That's not true. I disagree. I take shortcuts every time I can. I disagree with that.
How are you going to lay out only 5 players in your team and ask us if you should make any moves?
It's like that scene from Kevin in the Office, Why say
no, you shut up.
You do trick.
This is okay. I say he can't do the argument of shortening it when he spells out Kenneth Walker. That's all I'll say.
That's fair too.
Yeah, so you got to pick one or the other. Either spell them all out or call him K-Walk or something. Do something stupid like that.
Yeah, but
go full in.
Then we would thought it would have been Kemba. So
true. Where's Kemba this year? Where does he play now?
Knicks.
Still?
I think so.
Good for him.
Surprise.
Kemba Walker.
Good job, Kemba.
Never mind. Don't even get me down.
This is a pro Kemba Walker podcast.
Disagree. Hard disagree on that.
I like Kemba. His starters are Cousins, Saquon, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, I would assume Marquis Brown, Higby, Brees, and Damien Pierce. I would be packaging Marquis Brown with somebody. I'm selling high on him. I'd maybe package him with Chris Olave or something and try to upgrade that wide receiver spot or upgrade anywhere because your team's stacked anyway. And then I want to own Kyle Pitts, even though he's been disappointing, obviously, but there's no doubt his potential is high. Like even his floor, if he starts getting those 80-yard games or something, is very much needed at the tight end position. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally agree. Also, it's a lot easier for me not to talk a lot when I don't say a lot.
Whoops.
I.e. Cade Smith.
Click shut up. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, yeah. More questions coming in. We can't promise we won't roast you or try to pick out something and make fun of you about it. That's just the way it goes sometimes. The rest of the quarterbacks, I think a notable ranking is Geno Smith, who I have in the top 10 this week. He's quarterback 8. He's obviously been performing. He obviously looks really good. And we talked about a second ago how the Seahawks defense is really bad, so he's going to continue to throw to keep up. Kenneth Walker is now the RB1, and I think they can use him in even more ways than they used Rashad Penny, so which could include more passing yards for Geno Smith. So I am starting Geno Smith over people like Joe Burrow, like Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. I'm starting him over Aaron Rodgers in a couple leagues. Matthew Stafford, Carson Wentz. So, yeah, definitely look to see if Geno Smith is out there. I was surprised to see his ownership being as low as it was still. At least from my opinion. What do you guys think? I think we need to actually treat him like a legitimate fantasy football quarterback.
I agree. I know it's not sexy. It's not fun to have Geno Smith as your starting quarterback, but I think he leads the NFL in QBR or passer rating or something like that. But, but he's the guy in Seattle. He hasn't made mistakes. He hasn't made a ton of, incredible mistakes. He's performing well. He's a hot quarterback. There's no reason to get off the bandwagon of a hot quarterback ever in fantasy football.
Remember when he got punched in the face? That was an interesting time. I
Yeah,
feel like I forgot about all that. But yeah, I mean, Andy's got the running ability too, if he needs to. He won't put up 50 rushing yards a game, but he can, and that's huge to have.
Yep, I like him a lot. I also like, again, I don't know if he's playing this week yet. He's still in concussion protocol, apparently, but I also heard he didn't have a concussion, so I don't know what to think about Teddy Bridgewater at the moment, but I like him if he plays. Revenge game against Minnesota. He exploded his leg. People said it haunted their dreams who were on the Vikings team. They puked. They had to cancel practice. They thought he died. He is coming back from the dead, literally, possibly from last week as well. I have him at QB 19, but if he's for sure playing, I actually might make Teddy Bridgewater a top 15 guy, which is maybe just for the goofs and laughs of it all. But I like him more than Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want to fucking touch Jimmy G. So that's where, Tyreek Hill. He's just going to throw it 2 yards and Tyreek Hill's going to run for 80 past the Vikings' crappy defense, right?
Yes.
It's just like the Vikings to overreact on that injury, too. Nobody was dreaming about that injury. Nobody at all.
The reports from that, the stories is wild. And what's up, Nemesis? Definitely jump in if you have any questions. Comparing these quarterbacks to the rest of the consensus, though, I have Mariota at 17, which is 5 spots higher. And Bridgewater, I have, like I said, at 19, that's 6 spots higher than the consensus. I have Trevor Lawrence at 18, which is 4 spots lower. I have Zach Wilson at 23, which is 4 lower. Yeah, I might raise Zach Wilson because I do like him this week. I just need to figure out where to put him. And then I have Jacoby Myers at 24, which is also 4 lower. Browns play who again? They play New England. Yeah. I don't want any piece of them. Any other quarterbacks you want to talk about? Anybody jump out at you? It's kind of obviously bye weeks are starting, so there's even less quarterbacks to rank, but it's just a weird week, I feel like, for quarterbacks.
Yeah, this is a weird week. And some of you who read our articles on the website, we do stream articles. This is probably the toughest week I've had to do for quarterback streamers in a long time. If you're looking to stream quarterbacks this week, you really don't have many options at all. This is just a really tough pocket to be in where if you don't have a top 10 guy, you're kind of screwed because other guys probably aren't available.
That's
I
fair.
don't. And then tomorrow, I mean, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot for saying this, but I don't think I hate Justin Fields tomorrow. I think Washington wants. Fuck, I don't know, because I think Washington is just going to try to get after him, make him run, and I think that's where I think that's where Justin Fields succeeds, is out of the pocket, just kind of making plays happen. Like this could be a like a 17-14 game with 2 Justin Fields rushing touchdowns, and I think that totally can fit into a a quarterback spot start for this week if you have, I don't know, if you got fucked with Jared Goff or something who's not playing.
Yeah, I think he needs the rushing touchdown to be viable. But I mean,
Right.
like his last 3 weeks, it looks like 47, 52, and 47 for rushing yards. I do think he's around there again. Like he's going to get those 5 points for you. He's just not throwing the fucking football.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. It's really weird. Even though I don't think he's that good of a player, I don't think he's as bad as the Bears are kind of making him seem like he is, I guess. I don't know.
Which is wild, right? Because every time the Bears get a new quarterback, it feels like they just throw him out to let the dogs, dogs take care of him and let him throw 60 times a game and then just immediately oust him when the media gets after him. So they must like Justin Fields. They must be protecting him because they know how volatile that Chicago media is.
I guess. I just don't know how you. I mean, we don't need to talk about this, but like, there's so many playmakers on their offense where it's like, you don't need to throw it downfield. Like, we talk about the Bears all the time. They do one thing really well, and pretty much only one thing. That's draft running backs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play 2 at one time, and maybe let's like split Khalil Herbert out and use him like they used Tariq Cohen, and get easy passing yards that way. You can do that. You got Velus Jones, who apparently some people think are good. I don't even think the Bears necessarily think he's good, but Justin Fields does. Use him. Like there's so many players that they can just go like within 5 yards, like throw it to them, make plays with their feet. And Cade Smith, sorry for the delay. It's not Marquis Brown, it's AJ Brown. Okay, so yeah, I mean your team's even better than we thought, I would say. I would still try to. You have so many good wide receivers. I would be packaging wide receivers to upgrade, either at that position even more or at other positions. You don't need 5 wide receiver 3s. Doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Any other quarterback you want to talk about before we move on to running back? Okay. Running back this week. And Richie, this will tie into your question. What do we think about fucking always say Justin Timberlake, Jonathan Taylor? I'm kind of concerned considering about trading him for a top receiver. I wouldn't trade low. We talk about it every week. There's no point in trading him coming off of an injury, off of a week where he didn't play. Wait for him to, play. But here's my top 5, and maybe that'll help you out. I have Austin Eggler at number 1 versus the Broncos, Saquon Barkley 2 versus the Ravens, Christian McCaffrey 3 at the Rams, Jonathan Taylor 4 versus the Jaguars, and then Nick Chubb 5 versus the Patriots. Again, this is half PPR scoring. Luke, what do you think of those 5 running backs?
Obviously, there's a worry there with Nick Chubb, right? Just playing a New England defense, yada yada, Bill Belichick, whatever. So I don't necessarily know how high I am on Nick Chubb, but I think his talent alone, you almost have to rank him top 7 every single year. I think we've talked about it in the show, but in my opinion, Nick Chubb's probably the best running back in the NFL. I think he's too integral to that Browns offense right now, who is kind of just staying afloat until we kind of figure out more of what's going on with Deshaun Watson. So I don't want to say I don't love Nick Chubb at 5, but there are definitely concerns there, right?
And I agree.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis playing Jacksonville. It's just the worst possible matchup. It Realistically, it isn't, but the Colts just cannot beat Jacksonville. They're at home. It's at Indianapolis this time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they always beat them
So
when they play in Indy.
yeah, so that'll help him. But I mean, you still don't know what you're getting from him yet. Zach, I know you touched on off air about their offensive line, left tackle. I think you said they need big time.
Left tackle, right guard.
And until they get that, he's not going to be a bum, but he's not going to be putting up last season numbers.
I agree. I don't know. Week off, I think he's going to be fine as long as he's healthy and good to go. Like, I don't know how you don't play him. I'm talking to Richie right now. Like, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be fine. Obviously, there's been no running lanes whatsoever for him. However, getting to play the Jaguars this week, I think, is okay. I don't think the Jaguars are that good, so I think you're fine. And the Colts have had a long week to just look in the mirror and hopefully make some much needed changes to their team. Any change that they make whatsoever, I think is going to be beneficial to Jonathan Taylor. So I think that's fine. To your point, Luke, with Nick Chubb, I am worried. I'm figuring out who I want to put ahead of him, I think. At 6, I have Ramondre Stevenson in that same game. Damien Pierce out this week, most likely. Leonard Fournette, I have at 7 at the Steelers. He might be the guy to jump up. Dalvin Cook, 8 at the Dolphins. Don't love him. Aaron Jones, 9 versus the Jets. Aaron Jones is boom or bust. And not because of him, obviously. Alvin Kamara, 10. Breece Hall, 11, who I like a lot. Ken Walker, 12, who I like a lot. So, to be completely honest, that top 13 or top 12 is super fluid for me. Other than, I think I have to keep Eckler and Barkley top 2 in some order.
Well, I think that kind of goes in line too with, I think we might have talked about it last week. I don't remember, but before last week, like Saquon Barkley was leading the NFL in fantasy points, and it's like been the lowest margin since 2004 or something. It just, like you said, Zach, it's just been a really weird year for fantasy players, for the star fantasy players. It's been weird. Everyone's playing over the top coverage, not wanting to give up the big play, even though there was like tons of huge plays last week. And is there any quarterback that's playing well other than the big 4 that's playing well right now?
No, I mean, quarterback play is at an all-time low. Big reason for that, I think offensive line play is at an all-time low. You talked about how teams are playing that 2 shell over top to force stuff underneath. That hurts teams. Like, there's so much sloppy, shitty football going on. It's stupid. I can't take it.
Well, and I think, you kind of say this every week. I think after this week, you got to trade Saquon. I already traded him, and unfortunately, I have to play against him this week after I just traded him. But I mean, I don't see his price getting any higher than it does after Baltimore. Like, even if he doesn't get hurt, to your point, his margin above the other running backs is not very high.
One thing I've started to trend towards doing a little bit is if I can get some good performances out of a player, and then if they have super, super good matchups ahead, that's when I like to trade them. Just because I think the potential of those huge matchups is usually better for their value trading them than what they do once they actually, you have them. So to your point, Ravens this week, obviously I like him. He's number 2 for me. He goes to Jacksonville. I think that's also another okay matchup. Then at Seattle, which is an amazing matchup. Bye week, Houston, Detroit, 2 incredible matchups again. And then it gets a little bit tougher for him. So he has the juicy matchups ahead. He has the bye week ahead. Maybe now is the time to trade him. I would wait until he gets ruled active, just because if we can get that injury tag off of him by the time you try to trade him, I think that moves his value up as well. But yeah, I mean, you can stick with him and hope he stays healthy. I just don't think that's necessarily possible when they are literally doing everything, including lining him up at quarterback just to get him the football and to get as much contact on him as possible. Dylan asks, who would you rather have picked up this week? I mean, okay. Ramondre Stevenson or Ken Walker, redraft PPR meets Ken Walker.
Yeah.
What about you? And again, I have Stevenson ranked a bit above him this week. I just think Damien Pierce is going to come back pretty soon. And obviously, Rashad Penny is not. So,
Yep.
and that's
One
that.
reason.
But I mean, both are good pickups, though.
Pick them both up.
Leave them both. Richie, he wants a big time receiver. JT, Saquon Fournette, Mike Williams, Hollywood, Olave, Godwin. Should I sell any high while you can? Sell Hollywood Brown and sell Saquon. You're welcome.
Get a
Basically
Cooper
what
Kupp
we
out
just
of
said.
that.
Yeah. Other running backs, again, I'm currently projecting James Conner to miss. It feels like a game they should be able to win without him, so maybe they just rest him. And if he's out, I do have Eno Benjamin ranked 23, which is only one spot below Najee Harris, and it's one spot above Kareem Hunt. So that's how I view Eno Benjamin. Any thoughts about those three players? Maybe Najee, because I don't even know what to say about him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Najee Harris, it feels like he's kind of gotten fucked out of a fantasy season because the Steelers just suck, which is wild considering they have like a really good team other than, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 pieces in the offense. But, I mean, I think the instant reaction that I had, and maybe you can talk me out of this, is, if you're thinking about moving Nick Chubb down, and you have to imagine that's what the Patriots are going to try to do, does that raise Kareem Hunt's value at all?
Maybe a little, but they don't really play them both at the same time. Like,
right.
The reason I would assume you lower Chubb is that they're keying on the run game.
Yeah.
So maybe Kareem Hunt does a little bit more in the receiving game, but I don't think he does much more. My whole thing is with wanting to move Kareem Hunt up, I just picture, and maybe it's only happened one time, but I picture him going crazy that first game against the Patriots. I'm not sure if he's done it more than once, but
yeah.
Yeah, I just have flashbacks.
We have like sorry if my Wi-Fi goes out. We have like a tornado coming through right now.
Yeah, there's a storm here too, so we may all be gone.
I'm in Milwaukee.
question.
I'm fine.
You are not fine if you're in Milwaukee for different reasons. Should I trade Marquis for Devante and Garrett Wilson? For
Yes.
Devante and Garrett Wilson? I mean, yeah, if you can. I'm scared of his future. That's why I'm hesitating. I'm 2 and 3. Have Sutton, Gabe Davis. I don't think you're going to be able to do that trade, but
yes, do the trade.
Yeah, go for it. Do it. Threaten to push him like Devante. Yep. Richie wants to know who he should start, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex out of this team. JT, Saquon, Fournette, Mike Williams, and Hollywood. Yes. Is what I would do.
Yes.
Trevor, agree? Yes? No?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Start your 5 best players. I like it.
What's our view on Damien Pierce going forward? I think last week should have been a horrendous matchup for him, and he proved how good he was. So I like him as an RB2 going forward. He literally just ran through people. Like, there's no holes. So
he's also like one of a select, like 2 on the Texans offense who can actually do something with the ball in their hands.
Yeah.
Just watch out for Rex Burkhead sightings.
I was going to bring up Rex Burkhead.
He might be the other one. Yeah. Fucking Rex Burkhead. Yeah, for sure. Val's to go. He sent. Val's got sent the Devante trade because Devante has a bye week and a suspension, probably. Accept it.
If you can get Devante and
now.
Wilson, if you can get a trade like that, your record is irrelevant. It does not matter what your record is. Absolutely do it.
Yeah. I don't love Garrett Wilson going forward, but you just massively upgraded to Devante. So cool.
Yes.
Geno or Kirk this week. I had Geno at 8.
Kirk
I had at 10. So yeah, I have Geno a couple ahead.
Geno. You'll have more fun rooting for Geno too.
Yeah. For sure. No one wants to root for Kirk Cousins.
I'm rooting for him this week. I have no shame. But no matter which one you pick, you're decent. I mean, only because I picked him up. That's
okay. I was going to say let's dissect that while you're rooting for Kirk Cousins, but that makes sense.
Yeah, only because I have him. I don't care about him either way.
I think that's how most people, even including his GM, care about him.
Kirk Cousins
what's
is the
up,
ultimate pawn
Miami?
for real life football and fantasy football. Like, I couldn't care less what he does. I'm only going to root for him
And
if I
Cole.
have him.
True. That's a good point. Comparing, I don't have them all.
What up,
I'm
Slammy?
going to compare my running backs to the consensus and PPR. Okay, don't know how I feel about this, but I have Ezekiel Elliott at 21, which is 5 spots higher. I may need to correct that. Benjamin at 23 is 4 spots higher. Chase Edmonds at 40 is 4 spots higher. I don't think anyone else is relevant there. I'm 5 spots lower on Devin Singletary at 27. People really like to rank him higher. I'm always lower than the consensus on him. Jerick McKinnon I have at 47, which is 4 lower. Isaiah Pacheco at 50 is 5 lower. And Nyheim Hines at 48 is 7 lower, which he should go up if he gets ruled active, I guess. So, any other running backs you guys want to talk about?
Is Raheem Mostert a confident start?
No. I like him. Let's see if my theory is right. Let me look and see. It's not right at all. I was going to say I might like him playing on turf and not grass, but it looks like he has only played on grass this season. So, fuck me. This is his first game on turf. Maybe he'll look faster. Maybe
So fast.
He is really fast. That's like one of the only things about him. I guess it's my opinion that he's a better player than Chase Edmonds. Do you guys think so too, or no?
I would agree with that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that it's a big difference, though.
I don't think it's massive, but I do think he's better. And I think Mike McDaniel also thinks that.
Mike McDaniel doesn't know what he's thinking.
Fair. Some other trendy guys really quick. Melvin Gordon I have at 17, Mike Boone at 35. I'm not all in on Mike Boone like other people because Latavius Murray should play this week. And I would assume he takes carries away from him.
I actually love Latavius Murray scoring a touchdown this week.
That'll be a good bet. That's probably really good odds on that. Tevin Coleman, I guess I didn't update my rankings. I have him 4 lower than whatever I read if I did read him. His performance last week had nothing to do with him, and good for him for running through a 6-foot wide hole. But that 49ers offensive line is super good. So whoever ends up getting carries there is going to be really good going forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vals, if they do that trade, who should they drop between Carlson, Khalil Herbert, Algier, drop Conklin, Knox, or Zeke? Drop Conklin.
Unless Carlson is your backup kicker. If you have 2 kickers, drop your backup kicker immediately.
True.
Actually, no, well, Dylan Carlson has been so good, I'd actually probably still drop Conklin.
That or drop your starter kicker. If you're not starting Carlson, I'm guessing you have Justin Tucker.
Well, Carlson's on a bye this week, right?
You're
Is
right.
that why?
Drop
right.
him.
That's
Fuck
what
it.
I was
Who
thinking.
cares? Kickers aren't
I agree.
people.
I agree.
I don't like drop him and Conklin. You don't need Conklin.
Make a statement.
I would also drop Dawson Knox, but I would drop all 3.
You don't need any of those guys.
Right.
Those guys are giving you 0 points this week. Drop them all. Keep Knox just in case he scores a touchdown and makes a flashy play, and then trade him. Is that fair?
That's true.
Instead of dropping him?
Yeah.
Even though that's probably not likely.
I was going to say, what's the likelihood that he makes a flashy play?
Probably not big, but it is. This is one of those games because Bills play the Chiefs. Everyone's touting it as game of the year. Everyone's going to be watching it. Whoever goes off in that game, trade them because everyone's going to be high on them. Gabe Davis, maybe.
Does it feel like Gabe Davis only? I guess Bills played at noon last week.
I think so.
Okay, never mind. My theory's off then. I was going to say I feel like Gabe Davis only makes splash plays when they're on a standalone game.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, good game last week though, but for the most part, usually that's right. If Isaiah McKenzie doesn't play this week, I guess we're going to get into wide receivers right now anyway. If Isaiah McKenzie doesn't play, I think you need to pick up Khalil Shakir. I think he's a really good wide receiver 3, possibly wide receiver 2. Obviously, we've been talking about him even before the NFL draft. Really good player. Going to be awesome in DFS this week. I think he has a role regardless of McKenzie, but if McKenzie is out, then he is going to be very, very good. And he's going to be one of those players who could possibly just explode in the quote unquote game of the year and be the pickup next week. So
what do you think you can get for Cam Akers right now?
I don't know.
Half can of soda.
He's so predictable.
I know,
but I think everyone hates him. Like he's probably a low end flex value. So maybe if you have Cam Akers and are lacking at wide receivers, how do you feel about trading him for Michael Thomas?
I don't know.
I'd probably take Michael Thomas.
I think I'd rather have Michael Thomas, right? Because at least he's on the field more.
But he just missed the past couple weeks, and I feel like that would be a really like possible trade you can make that I think would benefit you.
Yep. I can't believe you guys talked me into drafting Cam Akers.
I know, Trevor and I we're just like, hey,
I was all aboard the Cam Akers train until this year when people started putting him in the 3rd round, and then we had to pump the brakes.
Well, I was laughing like 2 years ago, Zach, you got fucked by Cam Akers. Last year, Trevor, you got fucked by Cam Akers, and this year I'm getting fucked by Cam Akers, and all of us tried to talk each other out of it, and just didn't work.
Next year he's going to be awesome.
Yep.
But we won't have
Clyde Edwards-Helaire was until this past week.
Clyde should
have had 2 carries, 2 touchdowns this week.
Fuck Travis Kelce.
I love Travis Kelce.
Also, I said this to you guys, but I'm like, Jerick McKinnon deserves no more red zone carries.
Agreed. I agree.
Like, stop doing that.
I disagree. I gotta back my man Jerick McKinnon from 2017 when I thought he was going to be a stud with the 49ers.
Like, I would be fine if it was Pacheco, but Jerick McKinnon, just get him out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. They're trying so hard to make Jerick McKinnon a thing. Like, no one else could make him good. Maybe we can, but no, you can't. He's fine. He's healthy, and that's all we can really say about him.
You're not that.
Is Jerick McKinnon the one guy that has left the Minnesota Vikings and has gotten worse instead of better?
Teddy.
No, Kyle Rudolph.
Oh, Kyle Rudolph's a good one.
I mean, age played a factor in that too, but
yeah.
Oh, Case Keenum.
Nah.
He was the chosen one for a hot second.
He was in the NFC Championship game. How did we let that shit happen?
Remember when they like NFL ranked him like top 20 player in the league? That was wild.
Yeah.
Peterson also went downhill after he left Minnesota.
True. Also, that's probably the one we should have said first. Yeah. Okay, wide receivers again. Half PPR scoring. Cooper Kupp is 1 versus the Panthers. Stephon Diggs 2 at the Chiefs. Justin Jefferson 3 at the Dolphins. Mike Evans 4 at the Steelers. And then I'm second guessing it a little bit, but I do have Marquis Brown 5 at the Seahawks right now. The reason I'm second guessing it is I think the Seahawks are going to be playing that super soft zone where they don't let stuff over top, which means they're going to force a lot of stuff underneath, and that could mean less huge plays for Marquise Brown. So I need to watch more Cardinals tape. I need to watch more Seahawks tape, and then I'm going to redo this ranking. So definitely check back on that. But as of right now, Trevor, what do you think of those top 5 receivers?
I just feel dirty seeing Marquise Brown in the top 5, along with Mike Evans. Only out of spite of Mike Evans. It's going to be really interesting. Like Deebo Samuel and Tyreek Hill. Obviously, Tyreek Hill probably won't have Tua, and Deebo Samuel, is playing Atlanta. But those are interesting names that I think anybody knows that they could both clearly be top 3 guys. But in those games, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I don't love them top 5. As dirty as it is, I'd take Marquise Brown over him, I think.
And this is a position group too, right? With everything so fucked up in fantasy football that it's kind of hard to not rank Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, top 3, however you order the 3. But Trevor, I totally agree with you. I think I like... never mind. Actually, I don't like it at all. But I do think that Deebo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, like we know what they can do. We know that they can take long ones. Both kind of. I don't want to say Tyreek Hill's having a worse season in his career because he's not, but both kind of in different situations than they were last year to lend credence to not putting him top 5. So I don't disagree with what you have here, Zach. But I don't. I think it's a consensus that we don't love Mike Evans. So I don't love him top 5. But can he have a top 5 week? Absolutely.
Right. I feel like the Buccaneers need like a statement week. So I just feel like if you have a Buccaneer, start them. Like I think Godwin probably has a good week. I think Fournette probably has a good week.
Real quick, Nemesis, when you say what about more, are you talking DJ, Elijah, or Rondale? Or multiple?
More. I got Rondelle Moore ranked the high instead of the mall. He's the slot. When I said to drop Greg Dortch a few weeks ago, some of you didn't agree with me. I hope you did now. Rondelle Moore is gonna be playing the Christian Kirk role for the rest of the season. Again, if Marquis Brown doesn't go off this week, Rondelle Moore will. Like that underneath zone stuff. Like this week is made for Rondelle Moore, in my opinion. I have him at 32, and I might move him up to like the 20 through 24 range. And from 20 down is Chris Godwin, Chris Olave, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel. He might be in that range for me. We shall see. And it was Rondelle Moore. DJ Moore's an interesting one though as well. I have him at 40 this week, and it's tough to like him. Like I could see a week where it's like, okay, now Matt Rule's gone, and now they're going to feature the guy they paid. That could be a thing. But
and just to add an extra element to that, I mean, PJ Walker's starting for him this week. I don't necessarily know if that's bad or anything, but I mean, it's not their starting quarterback they've had all year.
I like PJ Walker a lot.
I did too. He's got that swag to him, right, Zach?
He does, yeah. Not like the Chicago Bears.
He'd be perfect on the
tried
Bears.
to make a thing.
Dude,
so
DJ. The thing about DJ Moore too is, if the rumors are true, the 3 teams that are most interested in him,
that's not true.
If it's true or not. But even if it was, the Giants, Ravens, and Packers, I don't think the Ravens or Giants raise his value anyways. Even if those were 2 of the 3 teams.
No one pays a wide receiver and then they get traded. That's not how it works. He's not going anywhere. Terrace Marshall, on the other hand, welcome. We saw him last week.
Is he alive? Are we sure?
He looked good. He's someone who's for sure getting traded out of there. Robbie Anderson, maybe. I don't know if anyone likes him or wants him.
Trade him to the CFL. Get his ass out of here.
He does seem like a CFL receiver.
He's going to be a guy that puts the umlauts on over the O in his name, isn't he?
Fuck, dude. I hate if he. Oh no, I won't be able to take it. The IE is bad enough. Where is he for me? He's 57. I'm gonna move him lower right now. Just I'm gonna make an emotional ranking. He is now 60.
To everyone listening, you can drop Robbie Anderson too. Yeah. There's no reason to have him on your roster.
If you still have him on your team, you probably already lost the playoffs anyways.
I think I might disagree. It depends on who you drop him for. Like, definitely he's droppable. But like this week they play the Rams. If Jalen Ramsey happens to be glued to DJ Moore, I think Robbie Anderson could go off. Buccaneers is a similar thing, maybe.
I feel like we said that in the past, and he just doesn't go off. So.
I agree. I think most likely he will not go off, but I think there's a chance he does over the next couple of weeks.
So let's say he has 100 yards and a touchdown this week. That's got to be immediate trade, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm never going to feel comfortable starting him.
Right.
Yeah. The only reason I have to is for that.
Or unless you draft him like a sucker in Scott Fishbowl, in which case, probably not doing well.
I had to make an unfortunate drop in Scott Fishbowl this week. I dropped Joe Flacco, and it broke my heart. I'm not sure how I might pick him back up.
Drop yet?
I've made a few, but my wide receivers not very good. Quarterbacks and running backs were stacked, so got to keep it going.
My wide receivers may be the worst in the whole competition, so I can't speak on that.
Yeah. I tried to make a lineup with 2 wide receivers this week. Turns out you have to start 3. So
I've done that before.
so currently I think I have Chase Claypool as wide receiver 3. And I'm not feeling good. So
mine is Robbie Anderson, so
Yeah.
I might like yours more. I really
my
hate
my 1 and 2 though are Godwin and Thielen, so I don't know if that's too good.
Yeah, I at least have AJ Brown, I think.
Yeah.
Let's talk about wide receivers, then we'll get to Randy's question. Because I don't know what Luke is gonna say all of them, and I'm not gonna. That's not a good take, because Luke hates breakfast. But we'll get to this here.
I do like some breakfast foods.
Okay. 2 wide receivers I really like this week. I rank them back to back. I like Jacoby Myers. He has been extremely good when he's healthy and playing, and he is at the moment. He has been in 3 games. He is wide receiver 47 week 1 with 55 yards and 7 yards rushing, 95 yards in week 2, 111 yards and a touchdown last week. Plays the Browns this week. That doesn't scare me. Chicago and the Jets immediately after that. I think Jacoby Myers is an interesting pickup for some people. And then I really like Alan Lazard this week against the Jets. I do think Sauce Gardner's pretty good, but Aaron Rodgers talked up and said specifically on McAfee this week that they need to get Lazard more involved. So watch them do that this week. He talked up Cobb last week, and we saw how that happened.
Right, and especially, I mean, Lazard has got to be I shouldn't say got to be, but I'm sure he's a Rodgers guy. I'm sure Rodgers has trusted him. He's been on the team for how many years now. And Zach, you bring it up every week, but Alan Lazard will be on the field no matter what, just because he's awesome at run blocking.
Yeah. Yeah, which this probably should be a heavy run game as well. So that's just going to open up those downfield shots that he usually gets a couple targets of at least.
Yeah.
We'll see if they connect. Another wide receiver we all really like, who I'm pretty confident I'm higher than the consensus on, is George Pickens. I have him at 28.
Speaking of run blocking,
which is the highest ranked Steelers wide receiver now. What'd you say?
I said speaking of run blocking.
Yeah, no shit. The dude's a menace. Yeah, looking at the consensus, so I am 4 higher on Jacoby Myers at 25. I'm 8 higher on George Pickens at 28. So the consensus has him at 36. With Kenny Pickett, obviously, the past 2 weeks, he has ranked wide receiver 20 and wide receiver 22. So I like my ranking of him at 28. Yes. Luke, I know you're also a massive fan of him. Do you agree with that ranking?
Well, yeah, and it's just nice to see him finally being involved in the offense. Like, he's actually getting targets now. And when George Pickens gets targets, I think even someone who doesn't watch college football like me knows what he can do with the ball. He's a good player. He should be on the field as much as possible if Pittsburgh wants to win games. I don't necessarily know that they want to win games anymore, but I think Pickens and Pickett, it's fun to say. I mean, that feels like it should be a connection. I don't know how much Deontay Johnson takes from that when Kenny Pickett kind of gets better as the season goes along. But George Pickens is a huge target for Kenny Pickett just to throw the ball up to when he has the rookie brain farts. Also, Jacoby Myers, it's nice to see him in the end zone as well.
True. More comparisons. Rondelle Moore at 32 is 8 spots higher. I have Alec Pierce at 38, which is 6 higher. Obviously, we talked him up this offseason. I have Michael Thomas at 42, which is 26 spots higher. That's about it for those. Lower, I have Jamar Chase at 11, which is 7 spots lower. I'm not sure why people keep ranking him in the top 5. Tyler Lockett at 18 is 4 lower. Deontay Johnson at 29 is 5 lower. 4 lower on Brandon Ayuk at 37 and Darnell Mooney at 45. And the rest are irrelevant. So what do you think? Any of those wide receivers stand out to you guys?
Yeah, I guess I'll say I didn't find my phone downstairs, by the way, so I don't have the rankings up. But where did you have George Pickens, did you say?
28.
So you have him 1 ahead of Deontay Johnson?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think both because, let's see what Johnson's target. Johnson had 13 targets last week. He's still a target monster.
Yeah.
He's just dropping passes, and Pickens doesn't drop anything. So
drops defensive backs.
Hell yeah, sure does. Rondelle, we'll get to your question in a second. We're gonna.
I was gonna say we're gonna take
first.
forever on that. So,
how much would you spend on Kenneth Walker? Fab budget, super flex league, 148 left, sitting in first place. Someone bid 75 for Jimmy G. Wow. Again, so rest of season. Let's just say this. I think rest of season. Does it say PPR or anything? Well, let's consider this PPR rest of season. I would view Kenneth Walker as a high-end running back too.
Yes. Especially seeing what Rashad Penny was doing.
Right. And it is
he
PPR.
said it is PPR, yeah.
Jimmy G went for 75. If you need a running back too, want to upgrade that, or even a flex spot, I would be willing to spend half your fab, I think.
This is the one reason I hate fabs is it's such a crapshoot. It's such a crapshoot, and I mean nothing is guaranteed because you always have the idiots that throw all their fab week 1 out the window. So I mean, oh man, if you're bidding 75 for Jimmy G, that's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I
would
assume that person was desperate.
Yeah,
they have to be, and super flex, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, he had Penny, Jones, and Josh Jacobs currently. So I think having an upgrade at running back 2, or at least having, another legitimate option there, I think is really important. So I'm willing to go match that Jimmy G bid. I'm willing to go 75 for him.
I think I would agree, especially because is there really much competition in Seattle for touches? I'm not scared of DJ Dallas. I'm not scared of Tony Jones. I'm not scared of Geno Smith running the ball.
But are you scared of Travis Homer?
No, fuck that guy.
Yes, you should be. Best running back in the league. I would probably go 80. I just have an odd feeling. Let us know how much he ends up going for, please, in next show next Wednesday. I just have an odd feeling that if your fab budget, I'm assuming, is about 200 in this league, I have a feeling somebody's probably going to drop 90 on him.
Yeah, some guy who hasn't picked up anyone all year.
And I think if that happens, you got to kind of cut your losses. Because if you handcuff yourself in the fab too, and then he goes down, you're dead to rights.
Yeah, he's not a massive guy. I don't think they're willing to give him a massive workload. I think he's going to get an increased workload and be very good. Like I said, I think he's a high-end RB2. But the Seahawks know they're not contending for a Super Bowl. So, he's not going to be a 20-touch guy, I don't think. So, I think there is a hard ceiling on him. Now, Randy wants to know what are some overrated morning foods.
Scrambled eggs.
Mm-hmm. All eggs. But scrambled especially.
Not all eggs, but scrambled for sure.
Scrambled especially. I agree.
I just really disagree.
Apples.
I think bacon's overrated. I like it, but I think it's overrated.
Totally agree.
I'd prefer. I think I prefer sausage to bacon.
Crispy or stringy?
Turkey.
Didn't really answer the question.
How do you like your bacon cooked?
Crispy. Ish.
There we go.
Burnt.
Good. If anybody likes it chewy, they cannot be trusted.
Yep.
It depends on how chewy. It needs to be the perfect crispy. Otherwise, don't fucking burn it for me. Leave it chewy.
It should be brittle enough where it crumbles into your mouth, but it's not black.
What else is overrated?
Apple
I think
slices.
Eggs Benedict is overrated. Apple slices, is that morning foods?
I don't know. People eat fruit in the morning.
I guess.
I don't eat breakfast. But if I did eat breakfast, sausage is much better than bacon in the morning.
Oh, you know what is also overrated is those stupid smoothies or shakes people bring to work that look disgusting and smell disgusting when they just throw a ton of fruits and vegetables in there and call it healthy. No, get that shit out of here.
Eat a salad instead.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'm not on board with that opinion.
Salads in the morning is an odd take.
No, I agree. I would say don't drink your thing then. Eat salad for lunch. Because I'm sure you're drinking that at 8 a.m. You're eating lunch at 11. 3 hours, you're not going to die from not doing anything.
Also,
for 3 hours.
V8 is disgusting. I will
Correct.
also classify that as an overrated morning food.
I like V8. V8's good.
It's a shame.
Do you not like Bloody Marys or anything either?
No. Hate tomatoes.
Tomato juice is disgusting.
Okay.
There was one other one.
Nemesis wants to know you guys are offended by turkey bacon. I like turkey bacon.
I don't
was just
mind
making a joke.
turkey bacon.
Yeah,
I don't.
bacon's fine.
It's
I
just
don't think
so
you can make it
expensive.
crispy though. Really, it's not expensive.
From what I've seen, well, I live in Milwaukee, so everything's expensive. But
Oh, I think it's cheaper than regular bacon.
yeah,
I don't know.
the only reason it's cheaper here is it's like the Kroger name brand, and I'm not about to try that because the name brand Raisin Bran is like eating cardboard. It is the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my life.
So you egg folks, do you like putting cheese on your
Yes.
eggs?
From
You
time to
have
time.
to. You have to.
You don't have
Otherwise,
to.
it's just disgusting.
That's my
Yes.
thing about eggs. Like, they have to be dressed up for them to be good.
I don't think so.
You know what?
disagree.
Let me take that back. Let me edit that. If they're scrambled, they need cheese. If they're like over easy, they don't need cheese. Omelet needs cheese.
So you're cracking an egg, preparing it however you prepare it, and just eating it like that? Like no salt or sauce or any extra food?
Sunny side
Salt.
up.
Yeah. I'm
That's
not
what I'm saying.
going.
But salt and pepper.
You
sunny
put salt
side
on
up,
every
you're good.
food. That's
Nope.
saying you're dressing up every food.
Nope. You do not put salt on every food.
Well,
That's
I know
true.
that,
You're
but
not
like
wrong.
if you're cooking like meat, you put salt on meat. Do you need to dress up meat?
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I'm sorry, I snapped at
Sorry.
you.
It's all right. It happens. It happens.
He's got
Maybe he's doing
turkeys
this
in his
to us.
backyard. Turkeys are nasty sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I do not
They're
like
scary.
turkeys.
I hate birds.
You know what's cool birds are
pancakes-
penguins.
True. Not a lot of penguins here though.
Right.
Pancakes or waffles? I think I prefer
Waffles.
pancakes.
Waffles. 100%.
French toast. None of
That's
them.
not the question, Trevor.
Yeah.
Too bad.
You can't
I'm
just
putting
make
it in
this
there.
whatever you want to answer. You're like
Waffle.
steering the
Try to
conversation
stop
what
me,
you want to
Randy.
say.
Try to
It's
stop me,
waffles
Randy. It's
because
French
they
toast.
hold whatever you put on the waffles.
Waffles are so overrated. If I had to choose between the two, I'd go pancakes.
You know what I
All
had?
waffles
I think
taste the same.
yesterday I had a waffle chicken sandwich from Quick Trip.
Incredible.
That was good.
Yeah.
Very good. So good.
Maple syrup, overrated breakfast food.
Disagree.
It's so disgusting.
Really?
Yeah.
I
It's so
will
thick. How do
say
you, ugh.
when maple syrup like
That's-
goes into your eggs, that's disgusting.
Ugh.
That's horrible. So I will agree on that.
I'm
on
not
that.
putting maple syrup on eggs. Who does that?
But like if they're
When it
on the
leaks
same
over.
plate, it leaks over and it gets into your eggs, and you're like, I can't touch this now. I agree
Figure
with that.
yourself out.
The moment syrup touches anything but pancakes, waffles, or French toast, it becomes
Horrible.
inedible.
It's horrible.
What about bacon or sausage?
No, horrible.
Nope.
It ruins the food.
Sausage is one of the worst.
They sell
Bacon is
maple
manageable.
sausage. Like that's the
And
thing.
it's horrible.
Yeah, that's
not.
why nobody eats it. Yes, it is.
Luke, you said you like the chicken waffle sandwich at Quick Trip. That has maple in it.
Does it?
Yes, it tastes almost exact, just maple. That's
Maybe
all it is.
Maybe I'll have to try it again.
Do it. Try it one more time. Yeah, see what it is.
Are you sure? Because when I had one from Quick Trip,
Yes.
it was just all it was a waffle and a piece of
Were
like
you
a chicken
drunk?
strip.
It's in the waffle.
No,
It's a maple.
It must be.
Did you
we
taste
must
the
be talking about
overwhelming
two different-
sweetness?
I
Is it
love how
like a
you give
breakfast?
this
Like
guy
you get it in the
something true and he
breakfast
just
hot food
goes,
section?
nah.
What'd you say, Luke?
You get it like in the breakfast hot food section?
I don't think so.
Oh, huh. I don't know.
Sorry. I don't know.
Every time Lucas doesn't agree with something, it's a fact. He just pauses and goes, no.
Yeah, I gotta think about it for a second.
Yeah.
The no is just a placeholder for what I'm trying to think of.
Nemesis, are you calling us? Something with who likes maple, maybe? I don't know.
It's true.
I don't know. Well, we should talk about tight ends, huh? Okay. On that note, let's zoom past these.
All right, see you
Travis
guys.
Kelce versus the Bills at 1. Mark Andrews 2 at the Giants. Zach Ertz 3 at the Seahawks. Dallas Goedert 4 versus the Cowboys. And Tyler Higby 5 versus the Panthers. Luke, what do you think of those 5?
Well, I think Tyler Higby, especially, right? Like he is a part of this offense. Stafford is targeting him even with Kupp getting 15 targets a game. Like it feels like Higby is almost into that role that people thought Allen Robinson would be in right away, kind of, in terms of target share. So I love that. I think there's probably a lot of people who late in the draft just grabbed Tyler Higby because he's on somewhat of a good offense, and I think that is probably going to work out for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, 9+ targets in 4 of his 5 games.
Yeah. And
I'm
I don't
not
know. I can't imagine many more tight ends are getting that.
No, there's no chance. Like even Dallas Goedert, who's been super good, his targets, he's hit 9 one time.
Yeah.
So,
and we know Stafford's not afraid to air out the ball either.
No, yeah, he's gonna do it, and that they're gonna get better. I think he is benefiting from such a terrible offensive line where he needs to get the ball out quickly. Which isn't an overnight fix anyway. So it's gonna keep happening for at least a while, but that's the only thing with him. If the offensive line starts to get better, if Andrew Whitworth does the super surprising thing and signs back with the Rams, at the same time as Odell here, then maybe he gets a little bit worse, and obviously Akers gets a little bit better, and Allen Robinson does as well. But for now, keep riding him. If Geno Smith is out this week, I currently have Hunter Henry ranked number 14. He was used a little bit more last week. Watch Cameron Brate. If Cameron Brate misses again, I really like the rookie Cade Otton, who I ranked pretty high last week. I'm at 21 right now, but if he is the starter, I will probably move him up to the 15-ish range. Looks like Logan Thomas is ruled out for Thursday, for anyone who cares. I think Dalton Schultz is probably going to miss this week. He re-aggravated his injury. So I currently have Peyton Hendershot as the top tight end in Dallas over Jake Ferguson. Hendershot I have ranked 37. One below Dan Arnold. Not ready to make that leap yet, but he could be somewhat viable, maybe. If you're in don't do it. Leave him there. But just understand I recognized him. That's it. Okay, let's compare these really quick, and then we'll answer Chris's question and Michael's question. So I am very different than a lot of people, I guess. I am 4 spots higher on Pat Freiermuth at 22. I'm 5 higher on Kyle Pitts, who I have at 23. Dawson Knox at 29. I'm 11 higher on him. 17 higher on Trey McBride at 32. He started to get involved last week. 17 higher on Dan Arnold at 36. He's starting to get a little bit involved. I would look also, if you are in a super deep league and desperate for tight ends, I think Greg Dulcich, the rookie in Denver, might make his debut this week. I am at 41, but I think he could end up being okay. Mercedes Lewis caught his first catch last week. He was a touchdown.
By the way, was that like the most
Rodgers talked him up, by the way. But
I was going to say, was that the most predictable thing that was ever going to happen? Is Green Bay was going to not play in Green Bay, so Rodgers wanted to get one to Lewis.
100%. And he said he wants to get him more involved in the red zone now, which should make everyone want to lower Robert Tonyan in their rankings. And, Mercedes Lewis, you're never going to start him for anything other than DFS, I would assume. But I think he's going to start getting a little bit more involved down there, at least. I'm 5 lower on Gerald Everett at 13, 6 lower on Tyler Conklin at 20, 6 lower on Adam Troutman at 35. And I guess I should say I have Taysom Hill at 10.
What the hell is Taysom Hill?
Tim Tebow.
It's insane to me that people are using their number 1 waiver priority on Taysom Hill. Like, I don't mind him at all, but he's going to get you a 20-point performance sandwich between 4 5s. And for that, just get a regular tight end and pick up Kenneth Walker.
And not every defense is Seattle. Let's remember that. Seattle, not only are they bad, they got fooled every time Taysom Hill was at quarterback. They didn't defend the run. So, like, what is he going to do? He didn't even throw it one time, I don't think. And then he just ran it every time. Whatever. Michael wants to know, Alec Pierce or Miles Sanders this Sunday, full PPR. I'd probably go Miles Sanders, but I do like Alec Pierce too. I think I like Miles Sanders a little more, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think just for the sole fact that I think Miles Sanders has guaranteed touches.
Yeah.
I'd go Alec Pierce, but I don't think you lose here. If one sucks this week that you pick, I don't think you can blame yourself for a bad pick, so to speak.
I think they're both sort of average. I think they both need a touchdown to be like worth the start, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Christy at PPR 12-man league. Should he make any moves or keep the depth? He's got Jalen Hurts at quarterback, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Ramondre Stevenson, James Robinson, Alexander Madison at running back, A.J. Brown, Cortland Sutton, Michael Thomas, George Pickens, Tyler Boyd, Dotson, Jameson Williams. Hey, there's Jameson Williams.
Oh.
And then tight end Mark Andrews.
I'm thinking if you can possibly get a better wide receiver too, that'd be great.
You can probably flip Ramondre.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson's values obviously is an all-time high, and we already talked about possibly trading Saquon Barkley high. I wouldn't trade both, I think, just because of you don't have a ton of depth there. But if you could trade someone like, let's say, Saquon and Cortland Sutton for a really good wide receiver and an RB2, that'd be okay.
Okay, because I was thinking, do you think like a Ramondre and like a Jahan Dotson for a wide receiver 2, or is that asking too little?
Too.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Giving too little?
Or if maybe you could get somebody to pay a little more that has Jamar Chase or Higgins if you throw in Boyd. There are a lot of things you can do here.
Same
line of thinking. Tried to target Damian Harris owner with Ramondre Stevenson
and the Dalvin Cook owner with Alexander Madison.
Start playing mind games. But yeah, I think you can make some moves to improve this team long term.
If there's an immediate move, I think if you don't want to give up any of your top guys, it's obviously wide receiver 2 is just up. I think it's the weakest part of this team right now. Not saying that Cortland Sutton's a weak player by any means, but
at the same time, don't force it. I don't think this team needs to try to force anything either.
Yeah, there's a lot of players on your team that, at least especially at wide receiver, that are underperforming that probably should get better.
Well, and also like in relation to other players at their position, Mark Andrews can make up for a lack in wide receiver production compared to other tight ends who, like Gerald Everett, had 2 points last week or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Michael, we said 2 of us said Miles Sanders. Trevor said Alec Pierce. We said they're pretty close. You probably need a touchdown for there to be any massive difference between the two. Okay, let's get to our picks, and then we are going to be going to Lombardi Sweep, the Green Bay Packers podcast, in about 10 minutes after we are done with this stream. Same place, so definitely subscribe, follow us, whatever, to rejoin and hear us talk about the Green Bay Packers, some fantasy stuff, some real life stuff, some betting stuff, all useful.
Some nonsense too.
Some nonsense, but really quick, our picks are going to be on Prize Picks. If you're watching on YouTube, we have a link for Prize Picks down under, and you get a 100% deposit match if you click the link, sign up today. So if you deposit $100, you can get $100. If you deposit $50, you get $50 for free. Prize Picks is a player props DFS site. You get the fun of betting on player props, but in a state where fantasy sports is legal. So you don't need to be in a sports betting state. We are in Wisconsin and playing. And Prize Picks has a special promotion going on for the next week, I would assume, almost a week until the NBA season starts. All Steph Curry has to do is score 1 point. It's a half-point player prop. If Steph Curry scores 1 point and you pick the over, then you hit that spot. So you can parlay that pick with any of our picks or all 3 of our picks and win up to 10 times your wager amount. So definitely do that. It is certainly worth it. Does anyone want to make their pick first so
I'll
that
make
it
my
doesn't
pick
get
first.
stolen?
I'll make my pick.
Luke,
Go
go
for it.
nuts.
I think, Trevor, you told me I lost 3 in a row. So I'm changing up my strategy here. I'm taking the biggest thing I can find for the best player available and taking the over, and that's Cooper Kupp over 95.5 receiving yards. He hasn't gone under 95.5. He's gone under once this year. And Cooper Kupp may be the most reliable player in fantasy football right now. He's just going to get shoveled 15 targets like we see every single game. So give me Cooper Kupp.
I like it.
I was initially looking at Najee Harris again to hit the under because that seems to hit all the time. But Carson Wentz is playing the Bears on Thursday night, and if there's anything that we know about primetime games, they have been a complete travesty to the brand of football outside of the Chiefs, Vegas. His line is at 0.5 interceptions. I think he's thrown 6 over the last 4 games. So I'm going to say he throws over 0.5 interceptions.
And there are player props for stats like they did. There's also player props for fantasy points. I'm going to do a fantasy points one this week. I'm going to go over 9.5 fantasy points for Alan Lazard. And I believe it's PPR. It might be half PPR. Either way, it doesn't matter. I assume he's going to catch a touchdown that already almost gets us there. So I like that.
I think in our 3 years that we've done the show, this may be the first time that we've ever picked someone's picked fantasy points. Is that something you guys ever bet on with Prize Picks or anything, or because that's something I kind of stay away from because it seems really more hard to predict that than receiving yards and touchdowns and stuff like that. For
players who are their yards are a little bit of a question mark, but I think they have high touchdown potential. I do that for that.
Okay.
For them quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it was when we first had our deal with them or whatever, the promo code last Thanksgiving when they had the crazy promos. That was easy hits. Okay. And the only thing that got screwed out of that was DeAndre Swift going down.
True. So, yeah, I mean, if you click the link sign for Prize Picks, you get a full deposit match. You can do Steph Curry over 1 point and then all of our picks together. You can do the flex option so you can get one of the picks incorrect and still get money paid out to you. Otherwise, pick your favorite one of the 3 that we did. Pair it with the Steph Curry one. And you can win, I believe, 3 times your money then if they're both correct, which is pretty much free money. It's really good stuff. And we'll go out on this one final question.
Bubber Ducky. What a name.
Bubber Ducky. CeeDee Lamb, J.K. Dobbins, Dalton Schultz for Damien Pierce, Alan Lazard, and Rondelle Moore. Which side do you guys want?
Left.
I'm taking CeeDee and Dobbins.
I think I'm okay with going Damien Pierce, Alan Lazard, Rondelle Moore. Maybe. Yeah. I'm concerned about J.K. Dobbins.
He's weird because I have him as my RB2. He gets sometimes 5-6 yards a carry, but they just don't give it to him as much as they should. He's super effective, especially in the passing game, and they just love Kenyon Drake and Davis, and it doesn't make much sense.
And Gus Edwards is coming.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's looming. He's coming back soon.
Gus Edwards is good for 5 to 7 touches a game.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
And
they're all going to go for 5 yards.
5 touchdowns a game as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Love Gus Edwards. Okay, we're going to answer a few questions then before we get out of here. Vincent wants to know standard scoring, Matthew Stafford or Trevor Lawrence. Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
That was a quick one. Surya. 0-5 with Justin Herbert, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones. I'm sorry. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase, Mark Andrews. Recently traded for Waddle for your flex. Who should I trade and for who? I also have Ken Walker, Josh Jacobs, Hawkinson. Is this an 8-man league? It has to be.
If this is not an 8-man league or lower, this is why the league median should be a thing in almost all leagues. Yeah. Because there's no way you're below the league median at 0-5 here.
Guys, obviously, 8-man league. Okay, good. Okay. Even still, you have a very good team. I understand a lot of these players are underperforming.
Do you have the most points given up in the league? Is my
it seems
question.
like
Yeah,
he
it's a
might.
good question. You have to.
But I guess like Aaron Jones obviously has been boomer bust. Herbert's been hurt. Dalvin Cook, super boomer bust. Amon-Ra St.
Ra
Brown
been
obviously
out.
had a big week. Jamar Chase hasn't been very good. So
Hell of
yeah,
a draft, though. Hell of a draft.
very, very good draft. So
Figure out-
should he trade for anybody though?
Figure out how to get Cooper Kupp with this team.
Yeah, just
Honestly,
don't give up anybody though.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly, I say kind of ride it out. Like I'm a little different, and I have a lot of leagues, so I'm different. But if I have a roster like this and I go 0-10 or whatever, so be it. But like I'm gonna ride it out because that's a hell of a lineup.
This is so I'm just looking like, is there anybody he could possibly sell high on to upgrade his team? And the only person I see, I think you may be able to sell high on Ken Walker. I think the potential of Ken Walker has a lot of people excited, including me. But like, would it be the most surprising thing if he gets hurt right away with the increased workload?
no.
Or if he just falls flat and the Seahawks suddenly implode? Like that wouldn't be surprising either. So I wouldn't mind trading him away, but like maybe you do him and
I agree with Nemesis.
if you don't have a top quarterback in Amen. Yeah, that's true. And Herbert's weird. So like maybe you go Ken Walker and Herbert for Geno.
Lamar.
Lamar might be a good one.
probably.
I think
Josh
Lamar's
But I
the
want
one-
Geno. Geno's the guy I would need. But yeah, maybe like a Lamar or obviously a Jalen Hurts would be really nice, just because he's so steady.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who would be easier to get between Lamar and Jalen Hurts, and I think Lamar after those two wild throws that he missed last week.
I'm also like those two wide receivers, like they are very, very good, obviously, but they're not doing good for fantasy. Like maybe that's the route I would rather take instead of upgrading Herbert. I don't like if I'm trading away either Amon-Ra or Jamar Chase. Who's the one you would rather trade away? For me, I think
it's Jamar Chase
I think so too.
because when Amon-Ra is healthy, he's like Cooper Kupp.
And Jamar Chase's
Yeah.
name value, no matter how shit he is, he will always be looked at as a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I don't think his value has really taken that big of a hit.
No, God, no.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that actually. Like if you could somehow do Jamar Chase, Ken Walker for
Honestly, you
let's
could probably
call
get Cup
it
for that.
maybe Cup, but even if you do
Tyreek
something
Hill?
like I was gonna say maybe something like Tyreek Hill and then
I
a
guess he has
running back
Waddle.
to replace Ken Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is
Maybe like
Waddle,
a
but like
yeah.
you know, I don't mind that still.
Yeah, I don't think I do either.
We just answered that for him. We got to go because the co-host is wanting us to go. Butter or cream cheese? I
Cream
think
cheese.
I mean, depends on what you're
Butter.
putting it on. I think I'm not cooking a
Butter's-
lot of stuff in cream cheese.
Butter is ass.
You're probably the same guy who says butter and margarine are different. Shut up.
I don't eat either one of them. I'll say this: like butter is fine, like if you're melting butter and cooking shit in it or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
But if you're putting like butter on popcorn, butter on waffle, just absolutely disgusting.
There are so many things wrong with that statement when you said if you're putting butter on popcorn, ... disgusting. What is wrong?
I don't like
It's not
popcorn,
a
so
frozen
it doesn't
stick
matter.
they're putting on top of popcorn, man.
Horrible.
It's not even real butter, man. Come on.
It's margarine. Is Dalton Schultz a drop?
No.
The knee problem
Yeah.
looks bad. I think he's droppable. He's not a must drop, but I also hate carrying two tight ends. So like it totally depends on who's there.
Is Dalton Schultz
but
playing?
I don't think he's gonna play this week.
Probably not.
I really want to see what he does when Dak comes back.
I know. That's why, like, yeah, I don't know. I he's for sure droppable. He's not like a you have to keep kind of guy, especially at the tight end position. But if you're picking him up for somebody like, let's call it Hayden Hurst or something, like I don't trust Hayden Hurst for the entire season. So like I'd maybe try to keep Dalton Schultz around if you possibly could. I don't know. Burger King or McDonald's?
Burger King.
McDonald's.
Burger King.
Wow, really?
That's not even a question, man.
Yeah, not even
McDonald's burgers are bad. They're just not good.
Burger King's disgusting.
Oh, disagree.
They're both disgusting. Let's be real here, but Burger King is better.
I am biased though
That
because
is
the last
incredible.
3
Never
times
heard
I've
that
eaten
before.
McDonald's, I've thrown it up 20 minutes later.
Also, McDonald's never has an ice cream machine, so if
Who
they don't
goes
have
to
dessert,
Mc-
it's
who-
Burger King.
Do you go to Burger King to get soft serve ice cream?
No,
They have
but
good
it's an
dessert, though.
option if I want it. McDonald's is not even an option, so
You just want the option?
How is
Yeah.
McDonald's also getting away with stealing the Coke freeze from Burger King?
and from raising
Burger
the
King
price of
sucks.
49-cent cones. What are we doing?
Also, how come a McDouble?
You just
is
said you
more-
don't get them. It doesn't matter.
Hey, but if I wanted to, man, it's all about the wanted to.
Charge
I need the
$10.
option.
It doesn't matter. There's no machine open anyway.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also, why is a double or double cheeseburger cost more than a McDouble?
Because there's an extra slice of cheese, apparently.
It's wild.
It's really weird. Mayo is greater than Miracle Whip as a comparison. I don't know if there's a difference between
Neither
those
of them are
two.
good.
No.
Agreed. Let's leave on that point. We will be back in like 10 minutes with Lombardi Sweep. You can definitely join us and get us off track for that if you want. We are just going to be talking about what happened across the pond and then talk about the Jets matchup, which are two things I do not want to talk about anyway. So definitely join us for that. See ya.
Peace.